Jackson, please come to the front, please. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you, honored guests. And, of course, thank you, Michael Jackson. Mike, I really do have to thank you for agreeing to play along with this tonight. I mean, I know it's not easy to sit there and get insulted for 5 minutes straight. I figure since you've been putting up with it for the past 28 years of your life, what's another 5 minutes? Many of you may not realize that a roast is not just about insulting someone, making an idiot out of them, making them look ridiculous, although I'll be seizing on every one of those opportunities tonight. It's also about honoring that person, about honoring their contributions, about honoring the influence that person has had on your own life, honoring the contributions that person has had to the group, and I also plan on doing all 3 of those things tonight as well. So, like I said, it's a special occasion, and as we would expect, Michael has dressed for the occasion. He's worn his slightly less wrinkled black t-shirt tonight. I know it's a step up for Mike. That was very difficult. And I figured since Mike is a poet, he's actually written well over 2,000 speeches. I've published nearly all of them. I figured it's only fitting for me to open up this roast tonight with a poem. So here goes. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. But the roses are wilted, violets are dead, your sugar bowl's empty, and so is your head. It's hard to believe Mike has already been a member of Hunter Toastmasters for about 6 months. I actually remember when he first joined, and I found out his name was Michael Jackson. I found he actually wasn't joking when he told us that was his name. I went up to him, I said, Mike, it must drive you crazy, all the jokes you must hear all the time, jokes about you being a freak, about being a pedophile, about being a monster. And Mike and I didn't really know each other that well at the time, so Mike just looked at me and he said, those were jokes. And another thing I remember is one night, Mike and I actually walked back home uptown together. It turns out Mike and I actually live in the same neighborhood up in Spanish Harlem. Mike lives in the housing project right across the street from me. We walked home together, and Mike gets to 98th Street where his building is. He says, yeah, John, this is my building. I guess I'll see you later. And he points up ahead and he says, yeah, if you want to take a shortcut back home, just walk through that path up there, and you'll get home a lot quicker. So I looked up ahead. I saw the path. It looked really dark. It didn't look like any place for someone like me to be walking at 10 o'clock at night. So I said, Mike, are you sure this is going to be safe? He said, oh, yeah, don't worry. Even if it's not safe, they know me here. Again, it's a dark path going between all these housing projects, all these old buildings. So I walked through. I finally made it home that night. By the time I got there, my shirt was missing, my wallet was missing, my slippers were missing, and my feet were on cinder blocks. I did make it home at least. And surprisingly, they did not steal my Toastmaster manual. That worked very much over there. But I have to be honest, Mike is one of the most talented speakers in this entire club. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I mean, it really takes a lot of talent to take 1 minute worth of content and 1 minute worth of jokes and somehow cram them into a 7-minute speech. Believe me, after writing this speech, I know how hard it is to take such a little and try to make a lot of it. But I always look forward to Mike's speeches, and you can always tell when Mike has a speech coming up, because for 2 weeks before that speech, it's all Mike talks about. All he talks about is giving a speech. So, you know, he'll talk to me like, yo, John, yo, John, I'm going to give a speech next week. John, I'm going to give a speech next week. It's going to be the best speech you ever heard. Be that. And he finally did his speech, and of course, a fantastic speech to blow us all away. And for 2 weeks after the speech, all you hear him talk about is how great the speech was. Yeah, John, you remember that speech I gave last week? Yeah, you remember that speech I gave 10 minutes ago? Yo, that was the best speech you ever heard, right? Yeah, that one speech was alright, but the best speech you ever heard, right? I do love Mike, and you know, I don't think it's really just a coincidence that Michael Jackson and Michael Jackson have the same name. Because when you think about it, they actually have a lot in common. For instance, they're both extremely entertaining, a lot of fun to listen to. And they're also extremely difficult to have to look at more than twice. Another thing they both have in common is that you put either one of them in front of a crowd of 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, and they'll both know exactly what to do to drive that crowd absolutely crazy. Likewise, you put either one of them into a room with a beautiful woman, and neither one of them will have any clue as to what to do. But yeah, I think the only people who love Mike more than we do are his parents. In fact, they love him so much that on the very first bath toys they bought were a radio and a toaster. He had a lot of fun with them. Mike was telling me back when he was a little kid, he always used to ask his father to take him to the zoo. And his father used to tell him, "Don't worry, Mike, if they want you back, they'll come and get you." Aside from that, Mike also has a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful girlfriend who he loves very much. Mike called his girlfriend last week, and she was on the phone with him, and she said, "Yeah, Mike, when you come over to my house, there's nobody home." So Mike got all excited. He got dressed up. He put his cologne on. He went to her house, and nobody was home. And then just last week, Mike came up to me and he said, "Yeah, John, I'm having some girl problems. You know, my girlfriend, she's only giving me sex once a week." And I said, "Yeah, Mike, tell me about it. She cut me back twice a week." Come on, don't laugh at that. Don't laugh at that. Mike's actually been really bent out of shape about that. He's losing a lot of sleep over his girlfriend of his. So I told him to go to the doctor. He went to the doctor to get some sleeping pills. And he gets the pills and he says to the doctor, "So I take these at night before I go to sleep, right?" The doctor said, no, save it for the morning for when you wake up." Well, Mike, you really are a great person. You know, all jokes aside, you've been a fantastic member of this group. I look forward to hearing lots more of your speeches. I really value you as a member of this club and as a friend, and thank you very much for putting up with all this tonight. Mike,